Imagine walking along a quiet beach or marsh, and then suddenly the ground beneath your feet gives way. In an instant, you're no longer on solid ground, but instead sinking into the cold embrace of something that feels like liquid but grips like cement. The more you fight, the more it pulls you down. Hollywood movies tell us you'll be lost beneath the earth forever, but science has a much stranger and perhaps more terrifying answer. This is the truth about quicksand, nature's prison that doesn't need bars to keep you helpless. For decades, we've been fed movie scenes where the main character slowly sinks into quicksand until their head disappears beneath the surface. But let's start with a comforting scientific fact. You physically can't completely sink into quicksand. Why? Because the density of the human body is lower than that of quicksand. You're like a cork in thick water. You'll float, but the problem is, you'll float in a tight waist or chest-high situation. Quicksand is a phenomenon known as a non-Newtonian fluid. This means it can change shape depending on the amount of pressure you apply. When you stand still, it appears solid. However, as soon as you step on it with your body weight, the mixture of sand, water, and clay loses its stability and turns into a liquid. But here's the catch. As soon as you try to pull your foot away, the sand will actually solidify again due to the pressure you've applied. You're literally trying to fight a giant vacuum. To quickly lift one foot out of quicksand requires the same amount of force as lifting a small car. The friction created by the extremely fine sand particles acts like millions of tiny hands, gripping every pore in your skin and clothing. This is why asking a friend to forcibly pull you up is a bad idea. The resulting pressure can be so great that you risk dislocating a joint or breaking a bone before the sand releases you. If quicksand can't drown us, then why is it considered deadly? The answer isn't the sand, but rather the timing and environment. Death from quicksand usually occurs due to two things: hypothermia or high tide. Imagine being trapped on a beach during low tide. You can't move, and you slowly watch the tide begin to approach you. You're not drowning in the sand. You're drowning in the seawater because your body is locked in place and unable to escape the incoming wave. This is the real horror. Quicksand is simply nature's handcuffs, and the environment is the executor. Furthermore, if you're trapped in the middle of a forest or remote area, the pressure on your chest from the thick sand can make it difficult to breathe, asphyxiation, especially if you panic and start breathing shallowly and rapidly. So, what should you do if this nightmare becomes a reality? The key is to go against your instincts. If you feel yourself starting to sink, don't try to run or jump. Instead, spread yourself out as wide as possible. You should fall onto your back. By lying back, you're spreading your weight over a larger area, much like a snowboard works on soft snow. This will help you float faster. The next step is patient movement. You should wiggle your feet in very small circular motions. The goal is to let water enter the space between your feet and the sand, breaking the vacuum. Once the water begins to loosen the sand's grip, you can slowly pull your feet out one by one. Don't rush. In quicksand, speed is your enemy, and calm is your only chance of survival. The world may not be what action movies depict, but quicksand remains one of nature's most efficient ways to remind us how vulnerable humans are when it comes to the laws of physics. Respecting the ground we walk on and understanding the science behind it not only makes us smarter, but it could be the reason you can still make it home after a minor misadventure in the wilderness.